Title card. Operazione EA3. The raid on Alexandria, 0-50. The Hook. On December 18, 1941, 3 British battleships anchored in Alexandria Harbor faced heavy defenses. By morning, 2 lay sunk with no shells fired. Attackers had approached underwater on oversized torpedoes known as Miales. The Italian Navy's 10th Light Flotilla spent 2 years planning this attack. Each Miale carried a 300-pound warhead, and the crew used recycled oxygen. The raid didn't permanently sink ships, both were eventually repaired. For 18 months, the British Mediterranean Fleet was without significant firepower, altering the war. 0-50-450. The story. The concept of manned torpedoes wasn't new but evolved by 1941. The Miale was refined post-Spanish Civil War, measuring 22 feet and weighing over a ton. 2 men controlled each, a pilot and a diver. The Italian submarine Sire served as the mothership, commanded by Prince Junio Valerio Borghese. It towed 3 Miale, departing Leros on December 14, 1941. The Italian Navy's 10th Light Flotilla had spent 2 years preparing for this single night. The weapon was called a Miale, Italian for pig. Officially, it was the slow-running torpedo. It carried a detachable warhead of 300 pounds of explosive. The journey to Alexandria covered 800 miles, with the crew using nighttime for recharging and avoiding patrols. On December 18, they reached the harbor and prepared for their assigned targets. One focused on the battleship Valiant, another on Queen Elizabeth. British defenses seemed impenetrable. An anti-submarine boom, patrol boats, and searchlights made entry impossible. But Borghese had mapped a small passage, opened for returning destroyers. The Miale entered unnoticed. However, there was a planned setback. De La Penne's Miale malfunctioned. The crew manually pushed it, attaching the warhead to the Valiant. Unable to escape, he was captured but warned the captain before it detonated. The Valiant sank, and Martellata damaged the Queen Elizabeth. 2 other ships also suffered damage. Historically overlooked is how the British were aware of the raid. They reinforced defenses but underestimated Italian capabilities. The aftermath was almost farcical. The British announced that both battleships had been damaged but not seriously. They staged false repairs and painted over the damage to deceive Italian reconnaissance. The Italians claimed both ships had been sunk. Neither side was entirely wrong. The Queen Elizabeth and Valiant returned to service in mid-1943, just in time for the Allied invasion of Sicily. But for the 18 months they were absent, Rommel received supplies across the Mediterranean with relative impunity. Afterward, the British claimed minor damage and staged repairs. The Italians falsely asserted both ships were sunk. The Queen Elizabeth and Valiant re-entered service in mid-1943, but their absence allowed Rommel's supplies to flow freely. 450-530, the close, Operazione EA3 remains a crucial lesson for special operations. Small teams with modest tech can exploit overlooked weaknesses. In Alexandria, the boom gate was the vulnerability the Italians utilized. It proved a lesson that special operations forces still study today. Small teams with modest technology can defeat sophisticated defenses if they exploit a single overlooked weakness. In Alexandria, that weakness was the boom gate. The British protected the harbor as if no one could get past the opening. The Italians simply waited for the gate to open. This raid revealed the limits of naval power. 2 battleships, more powerful than the entire Italian submarine fleet, were neutralized by 6 men on basic torpedoes. The modern implication is clear. If simple means can defeat sophisticated defenses, future asymmetric threats may be even harder to detect. Assume your defenses may fail. Subscribe to WARMACHINER and share this if you value deeper history.